Hi guys, I'm here today with Szabolcs Somogyvári. He's a practitioner, he's an Aikido practitioner and Katori Shinto. He has a wonderful dojo in Budapest, which I had the chance to visit 8 years ago. So, welcome, it's a pleasure.
Hello.
So, as a first question, I would like to ask you, how did you get involved in with martial arts? What did kind of inspire you to start training in martial arts?
So, hello everybody. Greetings from Budapest. My inspiration was regular, like everybody's. So I watched a Steven Seagal movie, and then I joined the dojo next to my house to start Aikido, and it was about 30 years ago. I started with regular Aikido. It was the International Kobayashi Aikido. And then I continued with Katori Shinto practice. After 8 years, I changed for a different Aikido. Actually, it was Aiki system, because my Aikido teacher also researched that kind of martial arts. And 10 years ago, I had also some special experiences in Aonkai Bujutsu with Akuzawa Sensei, and that's my whole system.
So that's how we actually met 8 years ago.
Yes.
And it might be interesting to add that because Akuzawa Sensei has also some background in the Sagaba Ha, or is it Sagaba Den? Sagaba Ha, okay. And your previous teacher had also background in the Sagaba Ha.
Yes, it was a very interesting story, because when I went to Japan the second time to study under that teacher, he's called Hasegawa Sensei. Hasegawa Sensei. Yeah, in that days he studied under Kimura Sensei, who was the first student of one of the first student of Sagawa Sensei, and I had a chance to study his system immediately in those days.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And I would like to kind of go back to the beginnings, because you were telling me before that when you started Aikido, so that was like the golden era, and you were like, how many people were practicing at the time, which I did find interesting. So maybe if you could speak a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it was really the golden times, because when I started Aikido, I went to the dojo and sat into the last row, to the last place, and it was the 64th place on the training, and it was usual that more dozen people training, more dozen people trained in one training. So it was very interesting, but I started as a beginner and then continued, and it was interesting times.
Great. So the Aikido you're doing, or you call it Aikido. Well, it's Aikido, Aikinomichi, right? So it's Aikido. So are you a member of any organization or?
No, I'm not. When we contacted officially to the Kobayashi Dojo organization, the international one, we created the Hungarian Kobayashi Dojo Federation, and I was part of that. But after some years, when I started to practice more deeply and researched the meaning of Aiki, I quit the organization and I created my own one. When I met Akuzawa Sensei, I also joined the Aonkai system, but after 3 years, I quit that too. So I strengthened my own system from that time. Actually, when I met Sugawara Sensei, who is one of the top Katori teacher in the world now, I created an official contact with him, and from that time, since 2013, we have official relation with the International Sugawara Federation in Katori. But within Aikido, it's different. I'm just alone.
Yeah. So when you first traveled to Japan, and I believe you stayed there for 3 months, could you talk about how was the training in Japan different to what it was in Hungary, and what was your experience like?
Those time was really wonderful because I could practice all the day. So it was very interesting for me. Yes, first time, more than 25 years ago, I went to Japan for 3 months. And the next year, I went to live in a dojo for 6 months, for half year. And then for 10 years, I went to Japan about 1 month every year. So I visited Japan quite a lot. But actually, I didn't see too much from Japan, because I lived in a dojo every time and practiced from morning till night.
Right. So it's similar as when you travel for your work, but you don't see much of the city. You see the airport, then they take you to the office, and then you see the airport again.
Yes, a little bit better, but yes, we can say that. First time, the second time was in the Kobayashi dojo. I lived in a dojo. Yeah, I lived as an uchideshi. I had to do the cleaning. I helped to the real Japanese uchideshi to wash the teachers' uniforms and so on. But between these times, we trained. We trained in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening with kids and adults.
So when we met first time, which was 8 years ago, I had the opportunity to visit also your dojo in Budapest, which was a great place. I was very impressed also by your students. And could you please tell us a bit more how it works, what are you teaching, etc.?
We have a dojo in Budapest. We run a dojo here. You can see some weapons behind me. I'm sitting in front of them now. This is a dojo which is used just for our classes, which are Aikido for adults and kids, and Katori for adults. I am the chief instructor in this dojo, but I have some assistants now. They help me in teaching. Some assistants also lead some groups, but usually I teach in the academy, because this is called Keiko Martial Arts Academy, the name of my dojo. Professional teacher, actually, so I do it for living, and that's why we practice quite a lot of people. We have about 50 adult students in Katori and Aikido as well, and that's why we need assistants too. But it's quite a big organization now, but still one dojo. But next month, actually, in not next month, in May, we open our first dojo outside of this, and yeah, it's interesting to.
Will that be in Hungary as well?
Yes, it's also in Hungary. It's also in Budapest, but not on the pest side. it will be on the Buddha side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. It is for sure. It's not easy to be a professional teacher, especially in these kind of more traditional arts. Obviously, if you do MMA or something like boxing, it's you know there's more money involved, so it's easier to be a professional teacher. But it's, I guess, with the traditional arts, it's more difficult. And in this environment where we are not in Japan, we're kind of in Europe, where the traditions are different.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. And if I can say that, certainly there are not too many people on the training. So, for example, it's about maximum 15 people are practicing one training, 10, 15 people. But yes, as I see videos from abroad, I see that very famous teacher also practices with 2-3 people sometimes. So it's very hard for the classical martial artists, but yeah, it's interesting anyway, and I like it very much. And as I see now, it's everybody. Yes, a lot of people are practicing MMA and very popular martial systems, but there are a lot of people who want to be involved in classical martial arts too. So we can find them and let them study.
So thank you very much, Szabolcs. It was a pleasure, and I hope to speak to you next time.
Yes, thank you very much for the chance.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.